All right, for this skill builder edit, this is bird's eye. This is going to show you how to do clone stamp for the first part, and then I'll have a separate video for some color change. But we're going to start by looking at this picture and looking for some things that don't really work in the picture. And one thing that pops out is this yellow little sign right there. Not necessary, takes away and distracts from the photo. So we're going to use clone stamp to take that out. So we're going to zoom in, so Control plus, and then I'm going to use the move tool right here, and I'm going to move my photo around. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. You should have a little slider. I might not be able to zoom in as much. But you should have a little slider that shows up down here so that when you zoom in, you can scroll, okay? So I'm going to try my best. There we go. Now I'm able to do that. All right, so I'm going to be working up in this area, and I'm going to remove this. So we're going to use the clone stamp, and I'm just going to demo how the clone stamp works quick, and then I'll show you how you can use a selection tool with it to make it work better. All right, so clone stamp looks like a little stamper right here. It's also a brush, and what it does is it takes pixels from one part of your image and moves it to another, and that's how we can essentially take away or delete something in your photo. This is a destructive edit, which means it's going to actually change the pixels of your image. So the first thing you're going to want to do is duplicate your background layer. And we do this so that if you mess up, it's really easy to go back to. You can always mask out things later. It's just a good habit to duplicate that layer. So you can do a Control J, that's your keyboard shortcut, or you could do a right click and do duplicate layer. All right. I recommend you label what your layers are. So in this case, this is going to be a clone stamp. It's just going to be easier once we get more and more edits on here for you to know what's what. All right, now, so I'm going to demo this. So when you click somewhere, it's going to, you can see on the top it says, let's do that again. Select a clone source by holding down Alt and clicking on the image. So for example, if I want to cover up, I'll just do this area right now. If I want to cover up this area, I know that I want it to look like carpet. Okay, so I'm going to grab from a carpeted area, and I'm going to do Alt and then click. Okay, so here I've selected my source. One thing I want you to notice is the edge is really crisp. Okay, doesn't always blend well, so under your brush, you can bring the hardness down. Maybe try 50-ish%. You can see it's a much softer edge, okay? If you go all the way down, it's gonna be too soft and you'll barely be able to cover it up. So I would start at 50 to 60% and see how that goes. All right, now, so I've selected from my source, it's giving me a preview of what it's gonna look like, then I'm just gonna click down and it's just putting that on there like so, and voila, it's covering it up. Now the issue being, this is a circle and I'm trying to get it into this like straight lined area, so it's not really working very well. So that's when your selection tools are going to be really helpful. If we go to the polygonal lasso, we can put a lasso in the area where we want the selection to stay. So I'm just clicking in this area and I'm kind of rotating as I go through to select this area. And I'm not totally getting it aligned, so I kind of missed part right there. I'm going to double click to close that. Oops, we'll just click backwards, bring it up again. It's a little bit off. So one other option that might work better is the quick selection. It's thinking about it again. And I'm going to make sure I do the add to selection. So click on that plus. It's really analyzing my photo. There we go. All right, make that brush nice and small, small, small. I'm going to add to what I have. Never mind. I'm just going to go back. Sometimes the quick selection is fabulous and sometimes it is not. Let's do add to, and I'm just going to get right up to that edge right here and then kind of circle around to add that to what I already have. Okay, that's better. All right, now what I can do is same thing. I'm going to do the same process. Clone stamp, choose my source, Alt click, come over here, make my brush nice and big. You can see it's looks like it's going to cover up that edge, but because I have that selection tool on, boom, I can just come in and Cover all that up. Looks good, all gone. Control D, take that off. And I would maybe want to come and clean up some of those areas, but that looks great. Much better overall. Once again, save this as a Photoshop document and a JPEG.